table. Before I say anything, I want to first ask you guys a question. The question is, and see if you guys can answer it. If you can answer it right away, then great, and if not, I'll give the answer. The question is, where do we see that a 13-year-old becomes a bar mitzvah? What's the source that a 13-year-old boy becomes a bar mitzvah? Yeah? Yeah? Do you have any guess? Because if you think about it, I mean, it doesn't really make much sense that, especially nowadays, you know, you think about a 13-year-old and all of a sudden I'm responsible for my own actions. I'm an adult, I'm a man. 13 years old? Most people, if you go out on the street and say, according to Judaism, I'm now a man, I'm now responsible, most people will laugh at you. 13? You can't even do most things in America until you're 18 or 21. What happens at 13 that's such a big deal that all of a sudden we're considered people that are responsible for ourselves? So the source is actually from a very interesting story. I think would you say something? The source is from a very interesting story, a famous story that you guys all learned. And it's the story of Shimon and Levi. Shortly after their sister was kidnapped. Their sister Dinah was kidnapped. And Shechem tried to marry her. And so Shimon and Levi came up with a whole trick. Told everybody in Shechem, if you have a bris milah, you can marry my sister Dinah. But in the back of their mind, they knew that they were planning that on the third day, and this is what they actually did. On the third day, they went and pasuk says, "Vayikhu shnei bnei Yaakov," and the two sons of Yaakov took, and the pasuk continues. It says, "Ish charba." Each man took his charv, took his sword. And the Medrash says that based on this, the fact that they said that the Torah calls Shimon and Levi Ish, and then the Medrash goes and makes a whole cheshbon. How old was Shimon and Levi when the Torah says that they were Ish? 13 years to the day. It was their 13th birthday. The same thing that you guys are. Can you imagine doing the kind of action that they did at the age 13? Going up against an entire city? I'm not saying you should try it. But I can't imagine that two of you would have enough courage to do what they did. Now, if you think about it a little bit more, you'll think about it and you'll see what happens in the rest of the story. Yaakov Avinu actually wasn't too happy with what Shimon and Levi did. In fact, even at the end of his life, he was chastising them about what they did. Yaakov Avinu, in a sense, was telling Shimon and Levi, what you did was actually, in a sense, immature. You didn't come and ask me what you should do in such a situation. You acted in a way that was immature. So the question is, if Shimon and Levi acted in a way that was immature and it was ish charba, why all of a sudden do we learn out that, a person becomes an ish, he becomes somebody that is responsible when he turns 13. That is a very interesting story to learn it out from. In fact, it seems like it should be just the opposite. How do we see that somebody that's 13 is immature from the story of Shimon and Levi? How did this come about? What happened? So Chassidus explains something very interesting about what caused Shimon and Levi to do what they did. Shimon and Levi knew that what they needed to do was actually the right thing. And they didn't ask their father because they knew that their father was going to tell them to do something in a little bit of a different manner. However, it wouldn't have been 100% correct. And Shimon and Levi decided, you know what? We're going to do what's right, even if our brothers think it's the wrong thing. We're going to do what's right, even if our father thinks it's the wrong thing. We're going to do what's right even if it looks bad throughout history. The history books are going to write about us that we did the wrong thing. But you know what? It is the right thing. The honor and the respect of Klal Yisrael at that time was so important that Shimon and Levi needed to do what they did in the city of Shechem. And they needed to do what they did in order to uphold that honor. And Yaakov may have told them to do it in another way, which would not have been the most correct way of doing it. He possibly would have told them to do it in a more calm way. But Shimon and Levi acted in a way that was honorable, and they did the right thing. Now, what does this have to do with Bar Mitzvah boy? Why do we see from this story, why is it so important to make a connection between this story and a Bar Mitzvah boy becoming a bar achroi, somebody that's responsible for himself? Well, because when a person turns 13, they start to act a little more independent. Until you're 13, any decision that you make, you usually ask your parents before you do what it is that you want to do. Mom, Tati, should I do this? Should I go here? Should I do this? Should I go with my friends to the park? Should I go with my friends to here? Should I do this? Should I do that? You always ask your parents. When you turn 13 years old, you're starting to become a little more independent. You're making decisions for yourself. And when we make decisions for ourselves, the Torah tells us, look at Shimon and Levi. Sometimes you're going to be in a situation where in your heart of hearts, you know what the right thing to do is. But your friends, they tell you to do something else. In your heart of hearts, you know what the right thing to do is. It's something that your parents have been teaching you since you were a little kid. That you shouldn't listen to your Yetzer Hara, you should listen to your Yetzer Tov. In your heart of hearts, you know what the right decision is. But when you look around at your friends, you see, this one's playing around this way, this one's playing around that way. It's not such a big deal. If I get into trouble, I'll just go home and I'll tell my mommy, everybody else is doing it.